I pray you receive the man who wants to love you, not just use you. And the reality is that there is a man out there for you. There is a man who wants to cherish you, honor you, and is going to fall deeply in love with you. And I want you to know what the signs are when he is that man and he has reached that point. My name is Stephan aka Stephan Speaks, back from another relationship and dating advice video. And today we're going to be talking about the 9 signs he's in love with you. Before we start, as always, be sure to like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, and leave your comments below. Let me know what you think are some of the signs that he's in love with you. So let's get to it, all right? Again, some of you may be a little bit jaded when it comes to love and relationships, but it exists. It's out there. You can have it. You have to believe it to receive it. But again, I think part of the problem is some of you don't believe it, and some of you, when a man that does love you is in front of your face, you don't know how to recognize it. There's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of questioning. There's a lot of things where you're projecting negativity onto the situation because it's hard to be vulnerable and fully embrace it. But again, I want to lay it out for you to make it a little bit easier. Now, as always, I have to always mention, of course, there's exceptions to the rule. And there's going to be some scenarios where, yes, men can do these things I'm about to list, and he's playing games. But it is very unlikely, or it's not as likely as you think it is, that he's going to do all these things and not be a man who truly loves you. So let's get to it. Number 1 on the list is he is willing, or he wants to provide for you. So I'm a huge believer in men being protectors and providers. And I believe in that because I do strongly feel that is the dynamic that's going to help create a very successful relationship. But also, I'm a firm believer that when a man is truly in love with you, he wants to give. He wants to take care of you. He wants to pour into you in so many different ways. Now, we have to understand that not every man, at least at the point in time that they have met you and fallen in love, will have the same amount of resources. So his ability to provide may be limited, but his willingness and desire will still be there. So when he's in love and he doesn't have it, he's going to either want to compensate by doing other things that pour into you and provide, because providing isn't just financially. Please understand that it's emotionally, it's physically, it's all the ways to ensure that you are good, you are happy, and that you are pleased with him. All right? So he will either want to find those other ways to compensate, or he is going to be even more inspired to now accomplish more and to acquire more so he can give more. And that's the thing. Like, no man who's in love with a woman doesn't want to give to her. And so I always say, and you heard me mention in the previous video about the red flags to look out for in men. If a man has money or has resources and he is unwilling to provide for you, or he is doing the dreaded let's go 50-50, all right? I will tell you right now, that man's not in love. I'm not saying that every man who has it is going to want to just pay all the bills and make sure not a dime comes out of your pocket. There will be some variances in what his principles are financially, but he will have no problem taking on a greater burden. He will have no problem putting more on his plate than yours financially and in other ways to, again, ensure that he provides for you. So that's something to pay attention to, because and we see it even in little kids, like a little boy, let's say, or high school or whatever. He's in love with a girl. He's trying to scrape up whatever money he can to get her a gift or to do things. That's how men are when they're really into a woman. Even when it's not genuine love, when he's that deeply into a woman, he wants to give to her. So his willingness or desire to provide for you is definitely a sign he's in love with you. The second sign that he's in love with you is that he's willing to make sacrifices, and he becomes more open-minded to the things that you like. So first, let's start with sacrifices. Again, you have to understand that men who are not serious about a woman, they're trying to get more for less, all right? The idea of compromise, sacrifice, providing. These are things that do not translate or they're not embraced by the man who's just looking to have fun or who's not serious about you. But on the flip side, the man who does embrace those things. And so now he's more willing to sacrifice his time. Now he's more willing to sacrifice his finances. He's more willing to make adjustments to, again, ensure that you have what you need or to make sure that you're good. All right. He's more willing to go above and beyond. And that's what happens when we make sacrifices. We're essentially going above and beyond. Now, listen, let me make something clear. I don't encourage or push the idea of sacrifices to the extent of depleting yourself and now you're unhappy and miserable. And I push that message to both men and women. We are supposed to pour into each other, and yes, there will be moments of sacrifice. But now when you find yourself constantly sacrificing to where you're losing yourself, now you've crossed the line too far. All right. And I just had to mention that because many people do get caught up. They get so caught up in their love or their belief of being in love with this person that they go way past the line of sacrifice to where now it becomes unhealthy and toxic for the relationship. But going back to the original point, yes, he is willing to be more flexible, to bend more in that area, to accommodate you more in that area. But now also, as I mentioned, he is more open-minded to the things that you like. So, for example, let's just say he doesn't like, I don't know why this is coming to my mind because I had a previous client. Anyways, he doesn't like dancing, all right? He's not a big on going out dancing. But you love dancing and he loves you. So now he's a little bit more willing to at least try it. He's a little bit more willing to go. Even if he's not all into it, he wants to be there for you, all right? It could be even the foods that you like to eat. He's a little bit more willing. Now, listen, some things, some people are just not going to be for. For example, maybe you love jumping out of airplanes and he's like, hell no, I ain't jumping out of a damn airplane. I love you, but that's not my thing. Okay, so there's a line that some people aren't going to cross in certain things. But again, what you will notice with the man who's truly in love with you and truly in love with any woman is that he is now more willing to be open-minded, to consider it, to give it a try. You know what I'm saying? To find the middle ground to, again, make you happy. That's what it's all about, because loving is about giving. It's about pouring into the other. And that's what a man who loves you will do. Now let's move on to number 3. Number 3 on the list of signs he's in love with you is that he does not intentionally hurt you. Now you notice I stress the word intentionally. Let me break this down, okay? Because here's the unfortunate reality. No matter how much a man loves you, no matter how much anybody loves you, there's a very good chance that at some point in life they will hurt you. Because we're human, we make mistakes. We may have missed the mark in understanding the moment, understanding how certain things affect you. There's just a lot of things that can create a dynamic where, yes, this individual unknowingly or unintentionally hurts you. Very different from the man or person who knows something is a problem, who knows this is disrespectful to you, who knows this is mistreatment towards you, and does it anyway. Someone who you've expressed your concerns to, you let them know this does not work for you or it hurts you, and yet they do it anyway. And many of you have dealt with men who did not give a damn about your feelings. And yes, who blatantly, intentionally would try to hurt you or did hurt you. But the man who loves you is not trying to ever do that. Again, he may make mistakes without understanding the issue. He may not understand where, I can't think of an example at the moment, but little things here and there that could trigger you that he just doesn't get yet. But I tell you this, that man is going to always be willing to at least hear you out. Make sure you come at him the right way. I always have to throw that in because some of you may feel like, well, if he did me wrong or your perception of he did you wrong in that moment, now in your mind may validate coming at him the wrong way. But that never makes someone receptive to you. Love or not, that can cause people to shut down. So you have to make sure that you gather yourself and express yourself calmly and lovingly as to what the problem was. And the man who does love you will be open to that, will be receptive, and be willing to make the necessary adjustments. So again, he's never trying to blatantly do it. He's never looking for ways to put you in a negative place or a negative mindset. And when you start to notice a guy who does that, because there are plenty of situations where I've seen men dealing with women and they like to basically poke the bear. They like getting under your skin. Not even in a playful, not saying that the playful way is healthy, but in a very like, I was going to use the word demonic, in a very devious, this negative, dangerous way. It's not good. So you got to pay attention to that. And again, but when he loves you, he's not doing all that. Which perfectly brings me to number 4. And number 4 sign that he's in love with you is that he's willing to apologize. One thing I can say with a lot of confidence is when a man truly loves a woman, he throws a little bit of his pride out the window. He's much more willing to humble himself. All right. Now, something's hitting my spirit, so I have to mention it. Some of you may be married or in long-term relationships right now. And you may have had a man who initially was humbling himself, was willing to apologize. And over time, he seems to have now developed issues with pride, unwilling to apologize. And now you're saying, well, he's not in love with me, or maybe he never was. Please understand the difference between a hardened heart and a heart that was never given to you. Okay? Some men, again, from the beginning, were never serious about you. Some men have taken a left turn due to the toxic energy and unhealthiness of the relationship. And so you want to identify, if you're dealing with a man who may be currently doing that, ask yourself, but was he on the right side of things initially? Was there a point that he was doing it right? If there was, then there's at least an argument to make that there's hope that you can correct this, that there is things that can be addressed to bring it back to the good times. And that would be the first step. If, though, you recognize it as, no, this joker was never okay like this. He always was prideful. He was never apologizing. He was never humbling himself. All right, you just may be in the wrong relationship. Not even maybe, you probably are in the wrong relationship. There's probably nothing to fix. I would still say address the issue first, because that's what I believe in. But understand that there's less likely of a chance of anything changing when this man was always like that versus the man who started off that way, and through time and battles that you guys may have had in a relationship for various reasons, it may have hardened his heart, but it can be softened back up. So now back to the original point of he's willing to apologize. Yes, I will say that again, when he's in love with you, especially in those initial that initial phase, that earlier part of the relationship or that dating process, he's much more willing to apologize as long as, again, you bring forth your grievance. You let him know how you feel. But I have to say it again. You've got to express yourself in a positive and loving manner. You can't come at him the wrong way. You can't come at him disrespectful, but expect him to maintain his poise and to handle it accordingly. He should, and I would encourage any man to still keep their composure in that situation. But we all have a role to play in creating positive, healthy communication and increasing the chances of our partners receiving what we have to say. But with that, yes, with that said, he's definitely willing to apologize. He's definitely willing to correct the issue. He's flat out willing to hear you out, because that's what love makes a man do. That's what love makes anyone do. All right. So always be mindful of that and pay attention to that very important sign. All right. So now let's get to number 5 on this list. And number 5 is he opens up to you and he lets you into his world. So again, when you are dealing with men who are not serious about you, they're not trying to typically bring you into their world. They're not trying to open up. They're not trying to integrate you into the other aspects of their life. They're trying to even minimize you meeting people if possible. Hell, in some situations, flat out hide you. But the man who loves you, it's a completely opposite of that. He wants to bring you into his world. He wants the people he loves to meet you. All right. He wants to show you off, essentially. Because when he's in love with you and he thinks that highly of you, he wants the world to see he's proud of you. He's proud of this woman that he's been able to now meet and have this experience with. All right. And he wants to share that with others in his life. But again, he's also willing to open up emotionally to you. He's willing to, and let me be clear. When I say open up emotionally, it still may be a slight struggle as far as how deeply and how quickly we open up, right? But what's clear as day to me is this, and this is especially or even more importantly true when he is typically a man who doesn't open up at all. He's going to give you more than he gives others. That's the key here, all right? Now, of course, I'm an encourager of fully opening up and getting to that place where you both can be fully emotionally naked with each other, all right? Because that's what we need to have the true nurturing of the love that's there and to allow the relationship to flourish. But it's a struggle for some people because some people still haven't healed in certain ways or they may be hesitant due to past experiences. And so it may be slowly, but it's surely happening. It's moving forward. And again, he gives you more than he gives others. Now, that may not always be clear to you because you may not know how he operates with others. But typically, if when a man says something like, damn, I tell you things I don't tell anybody else, that typically is true. Again, are there some liars and manipulators out there? Yes. But that's why you always have to consider the totality of the situation. If he's been amazing in all other ways, if you're seeing these other signs I mentioned, and then he says something like that, there's no reason to question that he's lying at that moment. Take him for his word. He probably is. He's trying to let you know, I view you as someone special. And so I tell you more than I tell others. He wants to make that clear. He wants you to understand how important you are to him, how much he loves you, and why he is willing to go that far emotionally with you. All right. So again, don't think, oh, no, he just said that to everybody. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. As long as everything else is showing itself to be great, there's no reason to undermine that moment with negative thoughts. But he is going to give you more than he gives others. He's going to be willing to be more open about his dreams, his thoughts, and speak about his future with you. All right. How you fit into that life. All these things is shows or are signs of a man who's genuinely in love with you. All right. So now let's talk about number 6. But before we do, real quick, get your copy of The Man God Has for You. All right. 7 Traits to Help You Determine Your Life Partner. It's a best-selling book. Women are loving it. It has thousands of reviews. Trust me, you're going to find it extremely helpful. Be sure to click the link in the description or in the comments section. Get your copy today, all right? Number 6, though, let's get back to it, is he will pay attention to the details about you. So this, to me, is very huge because typically men are not detailed thinkers, all right? We're not looking at all the little things. Women are. Women, you guys are very detailed in your thinking. You're examining all the little stuff here and there. But men don't always do all that. And so the typical behavior of the man is more surface in what he's evaluating, all right? However, when there's love there, when he's truly into a woman, he's trying to look deeper. And in trying to look deeper, he's trying to learn more. He's paying closer attention. He's catching little things. Now, I want to say this because it can be a struggle for a lot of men to be very detail-oriented. I don't want to automatically say that the man who's not paying attention to all the small details automatically means he's not in love with you, because there may be some struggle there. But I do think that even that man shows an effort. That's the key. Like the dude who isn't serious, who just wants to have fun, just wants to have sex, whatever, he's not trying to pay attention to any details. He doesn't care about all that. He's trying to just get in, get out. He's trying to get what he wants, and that's it. He's not putting in the extra work because paying attention to the details requires extra effort, all right? And so the guy who's in love with you, even if he struggles in that area to always be as attentive, you will see an effort. Some men will be better than others because some men may be more naturally in tune in that way. But all men, any man who's genuinely in love with you is making an effort. He's going to try to remember some things here and there. And if he can't remember it himself, he may search for those details through mutual friendships, through family members. He's asking them questions. Again, he wants to go deeper in his knowledge and understanding of you because he loves you. And there's this desire to impress you in that way. There's this desire to show you that, yeah, you see, I'm paying attention. Yeah, you see, I learned that about you. Like, again, he typically wants that. And so that is a huge sign of him being in love with you. And I'm so sorry, I have to say this because it's weighing on my spirit. And some of y'all ain't gonna like it. The unfortunate reality is that though I said that there are men who may struggle in this area, I don't want to completely scapegoat the fact that it's not typically the way that men behave, because I do think it's important to understand that, yes, some of you are in or have been in relationships with men who profess love, who seem to be all good, right, for the most part. But they didn't pay attention to details at all. And the reality was because they weren't ever in love with you. And they weren't ever the man for you. And I think the reason why my spirit is saying I had to say this is because I think too many times I've seen women trying to make excuses for the man they're with, trying to let him off the hook when you know deep inside he's just not into you like that. And you're not really genuinely into him like that. Like, you may want him, you may want to hold on to this situation, but you know the connection is not there. You know this isn't the man for you. Your intuition has told you that, but you keep trying to make excuses for him. And I don't want you to do that. And I don't want you to always use the idea or the premise of the struggle that some men have as an excuse to ignore someone you know is not for you. Be honest with yourself. And if you are confused, if you're genuinely, well, I'm just not sure, okay, pray about it. Talk to God. Take a step back. Maybe go on a fast. Do what you need to do. But the reality is that for the majority of you, it's not that you're really confused. It's that you're afraid to accept the answer you're hearing from within. You're afraid to embrace what your spirit is telling you. And so instead, you're trying to look past it, and your confusion is due to the fact that your mind is making you want to believe one thing, but your spirit is telling you something different. And I do not want you to fight your spirit. I do not want you to fight what God is telling you. I want you to embrace it and do what's truly best for you. So I don't know. I had to say it. I'm sorry. I know this is about men being in love with you, but it had to come out in this moment. Somebody watching this needed to hear it. So anyways, let's move along. All right, so the next one, and I ain't gonna lie, after that whole thing, I just lost track of the numbers. I don't even know what number we're at. I'm just gonna keep going and finish this up, all right? So the next one on the list is that he will defend you and be protective of you, all right? Now, let me make something very clear from the jump. Protective and possessive are two different things, all right? The man who loves you wants to protect you. He does not want you in harm's way. He wants to make sure you're good, you're safe, all right? He cares about your well-being. The man who is possessive is trying to control you. He is trying to dictate your actions and moves. He is trying to block other people from coming into your life that could pull you in a direction that he doesn't want. And what I mean by that is maybe it's your friends and family who know damn well he's not good for you. So he wants to pull you away from that. He wants to pull you away from influences that will undermine his control. All right? That's where possessiveness can take you, because you become property to him. He owns you when he's that possessive. All right? And that's a very unhealthy, toxic thing. So and that does not stem from love, because love does not try to control. And what I feel the need to say is that if you question that, consider God. God loves us. He doesn't try to control us. He gives us the rules, but we got free will. It's on us. He gives us the expectation or the standards, but again, he doesn't try to force anything. It's up to us because love does not try to control somebody. All right? When you're trying to control, that's stemming from fear. That's stemming from brokenness. That's stemming from a different toxic energy that needs to be addressed. So we are not trying to entertain possessive men, but he will be a protective man. And he will, again, try to make sure you're good. He will be concerned about your well-being, where you're going, what you might be around. Because, again, he's always considering about just making sure you're straight. That's what matters to him. That's what his love for you does, all right? So he will be protective, and I mentioned also he will defend you. That man, not just I'm talking about physically defend you, all right? I'm talking about emotionally. I'm talking about when people try to attack you, he's going to step in the gap. He's going to jump in like, hey, slow that down. Don't talk to my woman like that. Don't talk about her like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though, yes, it doesn't mean everything that's ever said about you, he's going to jump depending on what it is. Because if let's just say, for example, someone says, yeah, hey, she's been having a bad attitude today. If he's like, yeah, she has, it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. He might just be that honest, like, okay, I'm not going to sit there and act like you're not having a bad attitude today. They're not attacking you by saying that. But things that are attacking you, attacking your character, he's going to jump in. He's going to defend. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, that's the protectiveness of him. He doesn't want anyone attacking you physically or attacking you emotionally. Love does not allow him to just stand by idly while that happens. All right, so now we move on to the next one. Again, I lost track of the numbers. So the next one is he will be consistent. All right? And so, again, a man who loves you, who's in love with you, is working his tail off to be consistent with his actions. It's not even about working his tail off. He's just putting forth the effort to do it because, again, he wants you to know he's serious about you. He wants you to know this love is real. He wants you to know that he's listening and hearing you and trying to pour into you. And so, and let me be very clear. His effort will be consistent. And the reason why I say effort is not that his actions won't be consistent as well. But again, I have to always throw that out because sometimes I've seen women or couples where you'll say, oh, well, he's not doing this, right? So he's not being consistent with showing me he loves me. But that's because he did not understand that that was something that you were looking for or that was important to you or that has become an issue for you. So his overall effort has been there. Like I've seen men say, damn, I'm trying and nothing seems to be working because it's not that he's not willing to give forth effort. He just does not have all the knowledge necessary. And sometimes if we're going to be real, a woman doesn't always give it to the man who loves her or any man because some of you may have the mentality of why do I have to tell him? Why do I have to explain? He should already know. And that's not fair. That's not right. And it's not the effective approach to take if you're trying to have a healthy relationship because he may not understand all the little things about you and what's important to you and why it's important and what you're looking for and all these things unless you guys are able to sit down and discuss them. And again, I know some of you guys hold on to what I believe is a very, let me not say toxic. It's a very ineffective approach of this idea of don't tell a man everything because then he could use it against you. I'm not saying there's never been a man who did not use it against a woman once he learned the information. I will say that the vast majority of men who aren't trying to be serious with you, who are just trying to play games, aren't trying to take all that information and actually put in the work and follow through and do it, all right? Most of those guys who are just trying to play games, they might take one or two things and try to work that angle really well. But their consistency with all the things that you're laying out for them, that's not likely for a guy who's just trying to play games. And even if you think, okay, but it still might happen, well, this is where your intuition has to kick in. This is where your ability to see the bigger picture of what's going on, has to kick in and understand how you're feeling about the situation. Because again, there's a lot of times where you are seeing red flags, you're just looking past them. But I think that ultimately you've got to be willing to tell your partner, especially someone who loves you, what you need, what you're looking for. And for that guy, he's going to be willing to be consistent with the effort to pour into you and to love you. And yes, be consistent with his words and his actions. There won't be all this confusion, because I always say the man who loves you wants to bring you peace and clarity. The man who does not care will bring you chaos and confusion. All right? So pay attention to that, because consistency and more specifically consistency and effort is a huge sign that yes, he's in love with you. And now we're on the last point. Now, I don't know if this was going to be number 9 or this was going to be my bonus, but whatever, let's get to it. The last point, the last sign that he's in love with you is that you're genuinely in love with him. Now, I know you weren't expecting that one, but listen, hear me out. I am a firm believer that true love, genuine love, flows 2 ways. It's not a one-way thing. So I've seen these situations where women are trying to determine who they should be with or what man genuinely loves them by who's putting forth more effort, who's doing more things, right? And I understand the logic behind it, but the danger is while you're evaluating him and his actions, you're ignoring the fact that you're not into him like that. You're picking the man who does more out of this idea that somehow he will be safer because he loves me more than I love him. In reality, you're not even in love with him at all. All right? And if you can quantify who loves who more, that's a problem right there. So you got to understand that if your desire to be with him is not rooted in genuine love, then no matter what he's doing, his actions are not coming from love either. It could be infatuation, obsession, all right, attachment. But genuine love isn't driving him. You know why? Because you're not pouring genuine love into him. Again, when it's real love, it's 2 people pouring love into each other. That energy, that spirit is flowing back and forth. If it's not flowing from one person, then it's not coming from the other person is showing something different. It may look like love, but doesn't mean it really is. And the mentality to evaluate on the surface whether this is love or not is what gets people in so much trouble. So many people have gotten in the wrong relationship. So many women have gone with the wrong men because you thought him doing this, that, and the other meant he loved me, but you were never in love with him. So you were never supposed to be with him. He wasn't it. So please understand that if you want to really be sure that this guy's really in love with you and this is the man to move forward with, check yourself, look within, and ask yourself, do I genuinely love him? Or am I genuinely in love with him? Is there a real connection here? Because if there's not, then no matter what's going on, he's not the one to move forward with. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here. And I'll see you there. Listen, you deserve a man who loves you, respects you, and cherishes you. Do not settle for less. So please understand, if he does any of the things I'm going to mention in this video, it is time to let him go.